So while I'm crossing the border, I wanted to quickly address one of the problems that maybe you saw the news story, but you didn't really get what was going on. So last week it was revealed on NBC News that Border Patrol and Mexican immigration have kind of worked together to essentially harass attorneys, migrant people who are helping the migrants, like myself, as well as journalists and things like that, and putting them on this top secret list, people that they consider like some sort of security risk or whatever. And one of the things that they're doing is that they're threatening to take away people's SENTRIs. Now, if you're not familiar with and you don't cross the border regularly, you don't understand how important that SENTRI pass is. So SENTRI is a program that you pay into. It's like $250 for 5 years, and you go through an extensive screening process, like a criminal background check, fingerprinting. They get to know, they ask a lot of personal questions, and you also agree to not complain about screenings and things like that. Just there's a whole bunch of rules. But what it really does is, right now you can see I'm actually in line to cross, and the line is maybe a total. I'll be in line for maybe 25 or 30 minutes on a Sunday, which is one of the busiest times to cross. Whereas if you don't have a SENTRI pass, it's going to be maybe 3 hours to cross the border. So what they're doing by threatening the removal of that SENTRI pass is not just kind of like low-level harassment. It's actually trying to prevent these attorneys and people who are helping the migrants, as well as journalists, from actually doing their work. So that threat, just the idea that instead of crossing in 20 minutes, that you might be able to cross they'll have to wait for 3 hours, is a significant form of harassment just in the threat. But when they actually execute that, what you're doing is really preventing somebody from doing their job. And that has a chilling effect on the whole border region when all of a sudden you start threatening people's SENTRI passes that they've A, paid for, and B, gone through quite a bit of stuff to get. But yeah, Border Patrol will pull that SENTRI pass for any reason, including apparently helping the migrant caravan, which is of course not illegal in any way, shape, or form. It's actually good behavior to serve and to volunteer with the migrant caravan, as well as to document human rights violations that are going on. These are things that in normal circumstances would be celebrated, and yet the U.S. government and the Mexican government are collaborating to harass journalists and people who are helping, and attorneys who can provide legal aid to the migrant caravans that are still coming. And the net result of that is pretty rough. When you put on top of that the Remain in Mexico policy, which is an illegal policy that the Trump administration has put into place, which sends asylum seekers who are going to the border and saying, I'm running for my life, and even in Mexico I'm in danger. They're sending them back into Mexico illegally, just for the sake of trying to make their lives miserable and make their lives more dangerous. Now they're trying to remove access to the journalists who could expose that, as well as the attorneys who help, as well as harassing people like me and other volunteers who are otherwise just helping and serving local churches. It's a horrible thing, and I thought I'd want to just go into greater depth to explain it for you so you understand what's so important. So anyways, have a great day, and please don't listen to the crap that you hear on the news without checking with people who actually do know what the situation is.